Mawson's hut is now a historic monument, a vital part of Australia's Antarctic heritage. Preserving it has become crucial to ensuring it stands another 100 years and beyond. A formidable task, given that the strongest coastal winds in the world batter the building most of the year. Katabatic winds so ferocious that Douglas Mawson called this the home of the blizzard. The job of preservation has been entrusted to the Mawson Huts Foundation, who've sent a team down on our vessel to spend the next 6 weeks working on restoration projects here. Team leader is Ian Godfrey.
So Ian, why has Mawson's hut lasted so long?
Well, the timbers themselves, although they're a softwood, have been substantially protected during the season when the winds are at their wildest and most snow and ice is being blown around, because as you can see by the amount of build-up around it now, the snow builds up and so then the timber itself doesn't get blasted. But often the roof didn't get built, didn't get that protection, and so as a result, that suffered the most damage.
So it's been blasted by the snow and the wind and just weathered over 100 years to almost paper thinness now.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the reason we had to overclad the roof.
Ian, finally, let's sum up Mawson's hut. What does it mean to Australia?
Well, it probably means different things to different people, but for anyone that's got a knowledge of history and the significance of the work that Mawson and his team undertook down here, it's an incredibly important, iconic object. It's a symbol of the science that was undertaken there. It also represents more than just that. I mean, it was the efforts of Mawson and all of his men, the sacrifices made by Mertz and Ninnis, who are dying on the sledging trek. It's a monument to those early days of Antarctic exploration.
Around the main hut are the remains of other buildings erected at the same time. The magnetograph house contained delicate equipment which measured variations in the Earth's magnetic field near the South Pole. And the transit hut was used as a shelter while taking readings from the stars to determine the exact position of Cape Denison. Overlooking Mawson's huts is the Memorial Cross, erected in 1913 in memory of Mertz and Ninnis. Mawson himself barely survived that fateful trip, an expedition of both disaster and extreme heroism that has made it one of the most legendary polar explorations of all times. One source of food for the Mawson expeditions were the Adelie penguins, those adorable black and white penguins with a distinctive white eye ring.
Surrounding Mawson's hut are these rookeries of Adelie penguins. Now, many of these have eggs, others have newly hatched chicks.
Adelie rookeries surround Mawson's huts, and seldom a moment passes without a line of Adelies marching in their comical way past the historic buildings. At this stage of their breeding cycle, early summer, parents are sitting on both eggs and freshly hatched chicks. There are an estimated 2.5 million breeding pairs of Adelies across the Antarctic, with breeding taking place right now in summer. Feeding time is always a spectacle. This parent has caught and eaten small fish and crustaceans and is now regurgitating them, a long sticky gob stretching from mother to chick. Squabbles are common in the Adelie kingdom. While parents take turns to sit on the nest. Stealing stones to build a nest is common, with an endless procession of Adelies marching from their neighbour's nest back to their own. They're gregarious creatures as well, congregating on the water's edge, calling back and forth to birds already in the water, until finally one penguin jumps. Then it's follow the leader as they all march over the edge into the icy water where they'll hunt. One place they're not familiar with is our rubber inflatable. Now this penguin has jumped out of the water and now finds himself in foreign territory. Best to get back into the water quick smart. Other larger creatures found around Mawson's huts are the Weddell seals. They can weigh as much as 6 men, meaning getting out of the water onto the ice is a cumbersome process. The Weddells are the most southerly breeding of all mammals. With this environment around Mawson's huts, the coastal fast ice, their preferred resting grounds. It's estimated there are more than 1 million Weddell seals around the Antarctic continent. Their big, appealing eyes winning you over as they slumber through the brief Antarctic summer.